Today I want to do a quick review of the RF35 that just came out and compare it to a couple older lenses I have and see if they could do a similar or as good a job as this one. And first thoughts, the shaking is not that bad. I don't want to shake it too hard. It doesn't sound like it's good for it, but it's not that big a deal. You'll get used to it. I'm going to compare it to my 24 EF, 50 EF, and of course this one's probably going to be the most comparable lens, and we're going to see if it's worth the upgrade on that, or if I could have just stuck with using this combo and get similar results. I hadn't seen a super unbiased review on this yet. It seemed like either people were sponsored by Canon or were super anti this 35 1.4. So I'm pretty unbiased. I did buy it, so I'm really hoping it's gonna be significantly better than this, which is just kind of cheap. But my biggest gripe is, how do you triple the price and take image stabilization out and you lose the macro? So it just kind of blows my mind that if they kept the macro and IS and made it just a smidge bigger, it would probably be more of a no-brainer. But you almost have to keep both of these now. Yeah, so that's kind of annoying. But anyways, I'm gonna bring my dog out and take some videos and pictures of her to compare, and we'll see how they come. Okay, so for the video we're gonna test them all out at 1.8. Autofocus is pretty snappy on that. You know. Okay, now we have the 35 1.8. You can see it's a little slower to focus than the 24. Not a bad job though. Pretty good bokeh. Now we've got the 35 1.4 on. We're going at 1.4 right now. Let's move it up to 1.8. Pretty quick. I like that. This isn't an exact science here. I'm just kind of going out and playing with them. That's at 1.4, but yeah, I mean, that's pretty quick. Sorry for the sound quality. My MacBook wanted me to use the in-computer mic for some reason for the screen sharing, or the screen recording. So anyways, we're going to start with the 24 millimeter. You can see it doesn't look bad. Zoom into 100. Now we'll go into 300. You can see it's not super sharp, but it's acceptably sharp. Not a lot of bokeh, being wide angle. We did shoot it at 1.4. And you can see a lot of chromatic aberration in the back. A lot of that purple fringing. And it is an older lens. That could be why. Here's the 35 1.8. You can see it's much sharper. I tried to get about the same distance back. It didn't necessarily work all the time. 100% still sharp. 300 compared to the 24. Alright, now we get to the 35 1.4. You can see I didn't even do a correction yet, so that's without it, that's with it. And then we'll go into 100%. Really sharp, 300%. Still pretty sharp at 300%. Look at that compared to the 1.8. I mean, really, that's the 1.8 right there. And that's pretty sharp at 1.8 as well. Okay, let's look at the bokeh. This is with the 1.8 at 1.8. You can see the trash cans have some words. It's pretty out of focus, but I mean, it's so far back there. And here is the 1.4. Now let's compare the bokeh again. Look at that bokeh ball right there, that 1.4 versus 1.8. That's a major difference. And you can see there's some words on that trash can. You can barely tell there's a trash can at 1.4. So I mean that difference right there, I would say gets it pretty close to worth the price already if you wanted to go with the 35. Now we're going to compare the 35 1.4 with the 50 1.2, which I shot at 1.4. And naturally the 50 is going to create better bokeh. The 50 is surprisingly sharp at 100%. At 300% you can see it loses its sharpness, and there's a lot of chromatic aberration right on the nose. Versus much less here. Still some, but much less. At 100 there's the 35, very sharp. Nice bokeh. And the 50 looks also very nice. You can tell that there's just so much chromatic aberration on that. Look at that bokeh ball. Versus you got this is the 35 1.4. You can get that little oniony bokeh. And then the 50s is just like pure purple. Okay, now we're gonna go a little tighter. There's the 24. You see the dog is starting to look distorted with a big head. So that is the main reason I did not want to rely on a 24 at weddings. It's not a very flattering portrait lens. We'll go into 100 to see if it's sharp though. Pretty sharp, nice and sharp in the eyes. 24 I'll stick to the dance floor with. That's shot at 1.8 there, by the way. 35 1.8 looks good. Nice and sharp at 100%. 35 1.4 again. Shot at 1.8 compared to the 1.8 at 1.8. Very similar. Wow, that's the 35 1.8 there, and it's just, I mean, obviously the focus was a little bit better. I must have missed focus here, must have got her schnout. But yeah, that 35 1.8 is the real deal. And there's the 50 1.2. Shot at 1.8. Compared. 35 and 50. And naturally it's going to compress the image better, get better. And that's really sharp. The chromatic aberration in the EF50 is really the only downside to it. It's a little soft to focus, but I think that's probably your best bang for the buck on this test. If you need 35, personally, outside from the build quality between the 35 1.8 and 1.4, you lose macro capabilities and image stabilization. I personally don't think the upgrade is worth it. They had a very good STM lens and a maybe slightly subpar L series lens compared to a high quality STM. It didn't seem like the right move. I'd most likely, if I was going to do it again, I'd hold on and wait for something else. But that's just me. But if you're a working professional, you might find that slight edge in bokeh is worth the price. Anyways, thanks for watching, and let me know if you like this review. Give it a thumbs up and a like and a subscribe, and maybe I'll do some more later on.